Hey Ericko,
Hey, John.
how are you?
Good. Doing good. How
Yeah,
about yourself?
doing okay, doing okay. Thank you so much, Ericko, for coming on our podcast today on the Rise. And Ericko is he's the founder of Gammon Living or co-founder of Gammon Living, and they are a property rental management company in Vancouver, BC. They've done really well, exceptionally well, and they have a lot of great Google reviews as well. And Ericko, do you want to quickly introduce yourself? I mean, that was a short
Yeah,
version.
yeah. No worries. Thanks for the inviting again, John. Yeah, so we are a residential property management company. Our company is called Gammon Living. I'm one of the owner. We have four owners in the company. We are a subsidiary company of Gammon International. So Gammon International does strata, commercial leasing, commercial sales, and they used to have like a single unit residential. So what we do is we partner up with Gammon International's sons, Justin Chu and Stanley Chu, and that right now we took over and manage this residential single unit and open a subsidiary company, Gammon Living. So Gammon Living specialize in single unit residential, and we do full property residential management, and then we do tenant placement as well, just tenant placement if some landlord would prefer that. We also do for hub developers such as rental project marketing as well. So if developers decided to rent out the properties for a couple of years before selling it, we can help them to manage those properties and find tenant for them. And yeah, that's just a short version of what we do in Gammon Living.
Yeah, great. And do you focus primarily in Vancouver, or are you?
Oh yeah. We manage properties across lower mainland, so downtown Richmond, Burnaby, Coquitlam, Port Coquitlam, um, Surrey. We does it too. So New Westminster, yeah, we do across the board.
That's awesome. Yeah. So for everyone, if you're a tenant or if you're an investor and you're looking for someone to do property rental, definitely give Gammon Living a shout. We'll link everything down below after this interview. And Ericko, before we kind of get into your journey, you did mention this painting, or not painting, but this artwork that I have
Yeah, love it, love it.
from One Life. Yeah. So what's your take on that, Ericko?
Oh, I want to hear what's the story on it.
My story? Okay. Well, okay. So the short story was this artwork is actually from Iconic. So they make canvases, and they're quite popular. And they did a collaboration with Gary Vaynerchuk.
Oh, Gary V, nice.
Yeah. So they had an exclusive, I guess, line with Gary Vaynerchuk, and this was one of the pieces that they had put together. So I have a couple of pieces throughout my house, just to inspire me and motivate me, kind of to showcase kind of that life is short. In my opinion, I think this is a great piece because it tells me that life is short and we only have one life, so make the best out of it. And this has been able to inspire me to push forward when times are rough, but also inspire me and keep on pushing when times are good as well, just to keep myself collected and not get too excited and just be calm always. So
That's good. It's like YOLO.
yeah, essentially YOLO. Yeah. Yeah.
no, no, but definitely that's a good story, man. I mean, like, as an entrepreneur, you live your life. You only have one life to live, and as an entrepreneur, it's very fun to do that because every single day, you can do your very best, and then when you see the result, you feel like, okay, I made it. Like, and if you don't do the result, there's always different ways that you can do to make yourself better or make your company better. And life is not a narrow road, right? There's always many different ways we can do. And yeah, that's why, like, I love that painting. It's like one life, definitely, because when you die, what else can you uh bring with you, right? It's only memories that you have. This is true.
That's powerful. And
Yeah.
your legacy too is like up until like your deathbed, like what you do in this current moment of life would dictate your impact on the world after you
Yeah.
leave, right?
I don't know if have you read the book Seven Habits of Successful People?
Yes.
Yeah. So I remember, like, we in university we were told by our English teacher to give a summary, and then I remember that it was one of my book that I choose, and the first one was in order for you to see your goals, you got to see when you die, what people remember you as, what people, yeah, your legacy, as what you said. And that really stick to me, you know, like when Kobe Bryant, now he passed away. I don't know if you watch basketball.
Oh yeah, my
Yeah,
heart was
yeah,
broken.
your heart stinks. But you know, people first thing they think about Kobe is the Mamba mentality. You know,
Mm,
about focus, persistent, never give up, and you know, it's so cool that every field that he go to the financial field, he succeed. He go to the creative field, he succeed. And because of his focus and his drive and making people around him better, that got him better, got him to where he is. And you know, if I die and I can be like Kobe like that, man, that'll be really nice. Like the whole world basically will just like stop for a minute and just, you know, remembering you. That's pretty cool.
yeah, yeah. Especially in the fast-paced world that we live in,
Yeah.
even those minutes count. Like I remember I was just for that whole day, I was just done. Like I couldn't do anything else. I was just like, wow. Like
Are
that
you a basketball fan too?
I
Yeah.
am.
Not like Kobe, you know, every time when we have like a paper, we roll it up as a garbage, we always say Kobe,
Yeah, fade away.
get away, Kobe. So it's just
Yeah.
like, man, now it's like when you say it, your heart just like, oh, that legend, you know. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's fun time.
Yeah.
Fun time.
I
Definitely.
know. I know. So who's their basketball team?
For me, I don't have a team. I when I first started basketball, I love Kobe. But then as LeBron got into the league in 2003, I love him, man. I just love the way he played, unselfish, pass the ball. People hate him because of things that he said. He might not be very good at PR, but definitely he is one of the players that I look up to because like he not only contribute a lot to the society, he helped his team to grow. Every team that he go or will be close to playoff or go to finals, except for the Lakers, just scratch it off for 1 year. But there's a lot of injury in that team, right? But usually, yeah, go to finals, and you know that's cool. It's like a CEO kind of mindset. Like he can go to any other. Like I treat like the team as a company. He can go to any company and really bring to the next level.
Mm,
And you know, I see him like, oh, if I can be that guy that I can just go into a business and grow that business, it'll be really cool. And it's not easy because like, you know, when you're dealing with people, especially in basketball, you got to know their pain point, what motivate them, how to encourage them, how to help them out. There's a lot of people skills that you need to do, and he's able to do it day in, day out with a triple double. That's crazy, man. I used to be in a school team, so for me, like seeing him doing that, wow. What about yourself?
yeah. Again, don't really have a team, although Toronto's kind of always been my team.
Yeah, we in
Um,
Canada. We cannot go back
we
on that.
only got one. We have one team. But yeah, so other than Toronto, again, I'm kind of like you. I watch for the players, and so right now, Giannis is probably a player that I've been watching.
Yeah.
Giannis Antetokounmpo, Luka Doncic is
Okay.
really amazing. More of the young guys, right? Like they're up and coming. So
I can see the resemblance. There was the underdogs. They used to
yeah,
get when they came in. They say Luca were not gonna be as good as not Porzingis, like Dirk.
yeah,
They say like, oh my god, he's gonna blow like Andrea Bargani or something. So,
yeah.
but he's
Yes.
killing it, man. He's killing it. I mean, like the only time people don't know that he played professional for a very long time.
Mm,
So I think since he was 16, I believe, or 14.
yeah. In the
Yeah.
Euro League, he's a big time.
Yeah, yeah. So I won't be. I didn't surprise when he really killed it in the second year or the first year.
Yeah.
His move, that move that he made with like a fadeaway. I mean not fadeaway, like a jump to the side to do shoot a 3 point. That he can last it for throughout his career. But
Mm,
like if you see people like Giannis, I don't. If he's not improving his shooting, I don't know how long more he can sustain that.
mm,
Right, right. I mean, like that's why I said Luka is gonna be the next big thing for sure.
yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
So Ericko, where did you play ball in university? You said.
No, I play ball in I started playing basketball. I grew up. I'm originally from Indonesia. I'm
Okay.
Indonesian Chinese, and then I grew up in Singapore for 9 years because there was a riot in Indonesia, I think back in 1999 or something like that. And then in Singapore, I came to Vancouver after staying there for 9 years. And then in Singapore, I was in this basketball school team. And so I came here, I played school team high school. And then it was fortunate enough, we even get to play in California as well. So
Oh.
it's like kind of like a trip that we played against US team. And it just opened my eyes that, hey man, I'm just an Asian. I couldn't fly. And I think I better stick to what Asian good at, business. so in the end, I pivot from basketball to business and business. And as a young, we try to work at many different industry, and then in the end, I found real estate I kind of like a love for it because I used to like to play Monopoly when I was young. And then I like the feeling of like, oh, I get a hotel, or I get like a few houses, get to a hotel investment. And then it started to me getting a job at BAM Communications. It was one of the top creative agency in Vancouver for real estate. So they do for like Concord, Oni Group, Coromandel, like all the big developers. Like for example, their branding, their renderings, their digital interior design, and some of their social media as well. And then one of my business partner now, he used to be my boss, Andrew Wu. He see potential in me, he believed in me, and he asked me to start a property management business together. And that's where we found the Gammon International, Sons, Just Insurance, Done Insure, and we created this subsidiary company, Gammon Living.
That's amazing. It's funny. I actually spoke with Andrew yesterday. We had a nice chat. So it's funny. And I spoke with Sam too. Pulse Digital.
Both,
So
yeah. Andrew definitely, I see him as a brother, as a mentor as well. And then I met Sam through Andrew. So Andrew is also one of the owner at Pulse. So and it's kind of a synergy that everybody is helping each other out in this industry, right?
Yeah. I love that. And I want to rewind a little bit, Ericko, back to when you said you play basketball and then you figured you probably best to stick with business, what Asians are good at. You grew up here in Vancouver. What were you like as in high school? Were you outgoing? Were you a nerd?
To be honest with you, if you can hear from my accent, I do still have like a mixed accent of like Singaporean / Indonesian / a little bit of Canadian. I wasn't good, and my English wasn't fluent, and people used to make fun of my English. And for me, I don't really care. I just love meeting new people, learning about their life. Am I a people person? Maybe. I just like to say hi to people and just connect with them. I try not to stay in my group because a lot of international students, when they come here, they like to stay in their, the Chinese group or the Indian group or whatever group they have, Mexican group, whatever it is. And I like to mix around, going to different groups, learning about their culture, the way they think, how they solve different stuff, how they approach things. And it opened my eyes. And then and then from that onwards, then in the basketball team, our basketball team was very diverse as well. We have people from Caucasian, we have people from Vietnam, we have people from Chinese people too. So, and Philippine too. So and Indian too. So it definitely really helped me to have a mixed culture and really understand everybody's perspective. Yeah. And then in high school too, I also like to play around, have fun. Go to parties and stuff. So I guess because you are still young. I was told by one of my uncle, he told me that as you get older, you won't be able to party as much anymore. So enjoy your youth. So I took it full-heartedly and really enjoy my youth. And then that's when I get to meet a lot of people too, and we get to connect from there. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, it seems about right. I mean, from just meeting you now, I think that personality does align with who you are right now. And from that point on in high school, when you graduated, because I guess that would be you're at a crossroad. Did you
Yeah.
go to university? I mean, Asian parents. Same. I
Yeah.
went straight. What happened after you graduated high school?
After I graduated high school, I definitely was like kind of lost. I do really want to work. I think my mom my mom is an entrepreneur as well. She has her own business, I believe like 40 plus employees there. And she always wanted me to take over the company. So I was very entrepreneur driven since I was young. That's how she kind of grew me. But because I left my home since I was 6 years old, and I go to Singapore and I go to Vancouver. So I really want to work. I want to work. I just want to learn like the feeling of working on this thing. Sorry, that was my dishwasher at the back.
That's
Turning on.
I was like, is
That's
there a
what happened.
leak? Is there a leak? Did a pipe
No leak.
burst or
Yeah,
something?
there's no leak. Yeah, no, don't worry.
I was like,
That's just what happened, when you stay at home. Dishwasher, washer, dryer, everything that's gonna on. But yeah, I mean like, and then my mom basically asked my mom. I was like, oh mom, right now I have more free time after high school. What should I do? And then my mom was like, try to get a job. Don't care about money. Look at what you want to do, because my mom told me that what you learn in school is very different than what it is in real life. Because in school, most of the time you learn theories, and then in life you learn applying those theories and how you can actually use it, and using it in many different ways. So as an international student, not a lot of people want to accept you, because no work experience, and people are not sure whether you're going to last here for a long time. So I got lucky enough. My first job was it was doing furniture actually. I was at the back putting furniture together, kind of labor work. And then from there,
how did you get that job?
I just sent a bunch of resume, man. I just go everywhere, like shopping mall, just send resume everywhere. Because back then email wasn't that popular. I tried doing email as well, but I didn't get as many response. So I thought like, oh, there'll be a high conversion rate if I just go door to door. So I did that. Man, I go to Metrotown, go to Richmond, go to downtown, go to everywhere. And the funny thing was, I got into kind of like the bricks nearby Coquitlam area there.
Mm.
And then it was United Furniture Warehouse, I believe, but it's closed down already. So I went in there, and then they interviewed me, and they said they really need someone. And I'm like, okay, perfect. I don't care my job. I just want to get a job. I just want to know how it feels like. And then, man, the first day was tough, because I'm not used to the labor intensive. And even though I was pretty fit because I played basketball, but I'm like, wow, the labor work, the demand and everything like that. And I'm like, okay, maybe try different jobs. So I try like club promotion. I try cleaning before. I try realtor management. I try retail store. I try so many different things. And then I realized that what I like to do is not labor. I like to do like helping others, adding value by giving advice and meeting people, and also driving around. I don't like to stay in the office all the time. So my property management the opportunity come to me. I was like, oh, okay, this could be something that I could try it out. And so far so good. I have a great team. And my team, having a great team is very important to me. And yeah, it's been very supportive, and we have been growing really fast for the past few years. So it's been great.
That's awesome. So a couple of things that I really want to touch up on, because you keep on, there's so much, I feel like there's so much knowledge that you can share. It just even like with your experience of growing up in foreign cities.
Yeah.
Did you grow up by yourself, or where were your parents, like your mom, because you said she's back in Indonesia? So
yeah. So a lot of people from Indonesia, they actually go to Singapore or to other like Australia and stuff, like after the riot, and they usually stay with their relative, or they stay with their cousins and stuff. So when I grew up, I moved to Singapore, and then I was staying with my cousins and my aunts and stuff. So my mom was still there, but then my mom was like, because Indonesia and Singapore was like an hour kind of flight. So he was there. She was back and forth a lot because she understand when I was still young. And I have 3 older sisters. My sister was like 9 years older, 8 years older, and 6 years older. So they were there with me as well. And definitely, in Singapore, you learn how to be disciplined because you go to school in the very morning, you get out of school, you come home, you get changed, you have English tutor, math tutor, Mandarin tutor, and then you have, and at the very end, you do your homework. After you do your homework, and then you do your test, which is like spelling test and stuff, and then you go to sleep, and then you cycle it again every day. So that's like, I think there was 16 hours of like just schedule, and your break is only when you eat. so I grew up at that kind of schedule until I was like, before I came here, so until I was like 15, 16. So now when I start working, I have the same schedule. Woke up at like 6 a.m., 7 a.m., workout, after workout, meeting, appointment, and then do all the work. After do all the work, review, and then reply to all emails and texts, and then go to sleep. So same hustle. It's just different things. So
Yeah, the different schedule, but
different
the
schedule.
same
Same.
yeah, same outline. And why did you decide to come to Vancouver, and how did that happen?
Oh my God. Oh, that story, man. So what happened was I love basketball a lot. And then I really everybody who loves basketball would say, I want to be an NBA. And then my sister was like, oh yeah, Vancouver has Vancouver Grizzlies here. You come here, there's a chance you can get into the Vancouver Grizzlies. There's like program in Singapore, in Asia, you feel that it's so far of a reach to get the NBA. So I came here, and then Vancouver Grizzlies left. I was like, oh my God. And then so the closest one was Seattle Supersonic. And then for me to get to Seattle Supersonic, I need my US visa. And it took me a while to get my US visa because I don't know how to do it. And then once I get my visa, Seattle Supersonic moved to Oklahoma. And I'm like, oh my God. So my first experience was actually watching Portland Trail Blazers. And that was a really cool experience. Seeing the NBA players on the first hand, wow, I understand why they are NBA players because, the way how they think about the game, the way they move, how quick they are, how strong they are. And I'm like, wow, I'm just so far away from that. I'll be a spectator. Because physically, my body, what happened was when I was grade 12, I realized my knee started to hurt a lot every time when I jump. Because I put in a lot of effort working on my game, like 4 to 5 hours every day. And then my knee really couldn't really take it. And but now looking back, I realized that recovery is as important as working hard. So back then when you're young, you think you're invincible. You just keep going and going and going. But as you get older, you realize that, okay, recovery actually will get you more results. So even in business now, I try to take a day off on Saturday just to hang out with my girlfriend or hang out with my friends, just buying groceries and stuff. And then when I eat lunch or dinner, I try to hang out with someone instead of having lunch while you're doing work on the computer. Because then you don't give enough break for yourself. And that's when you tend to make mistakes. And when you make one mistakes, it's like you have to do way more work and it's way more inefficient, if you know what I mean. Yeah. So
No, that's a good. I think what you mentioned there was really good in terms of the habit that you build of working hard, but also recovery. And I feel like even myself, like you're so used to just go, and then, but like even when you're tired and you need a break, you still push yourself, and then that one error is like, oh crap, I need, like, maybe it was a 1 minute error, but you need 30 minutes to fix that, and it's
yeah.
just a disaster. So
Yeah, it is, especially I know as a realtor and a property management, especially putting the misspell the name or something like that, you need to ask all parties to sign the agreement again, and for you to chase the parties to sign the agreement again, I'm like, oh man, that's like forever, especially if the party's overseas. Whew, that take a long time. Definitely. Yeah.
That's very true. That's very true. And take me through a little bit because like it's interesting to hear it from you because you're from again, I grew up with Asian parents and normally like the school going to university was the route after high school, but your mom was like go find a job. So what is
Oh,
your take on that like in terms
yeah.
of getting
My mom told me is like, I don't care what you do. I just
Mhm.
want you to graduate. Of course, because like I with a study visa, I still need to go to school, but I was working like 20 hours on the side. But I was instead of working on school, I was more focused on getting the jobs. Oops, sorry.
No problem.
Hello. Sorry, there was a phone call. I got.
No
Um,
worries.
yeah. But I was more focused on getting the job. So what I do is, I focus a lot on uh, getting the good jobs that I want to get the skills on, and then for school wise, I just get an easy course. But I do know I want to get into business. So the first year, I look. Okay, what's my requirement for business? Like how many credits, and what the fourth year, third year, second year, first year look like, and what do I need to do to just hit the minimum?
Life hacks with Eric.
So I was like, okay. So for the minimum, I was like, okay, I just need like 2.7 or 3. I was like, okay, I can probably get that. I can probably get that. And then I look at the timing that I have. Okay, I was like, how many courses minimum that I could take for school as well? What considered as full time? I believe I don't quote me on this, but I believe it was like 4 3 courses, and then so I realized that okay, now 4 3 courses. Let me see. So I usually want to put like one hard one and 3 easy one, or like 2 medium and 2 easy. So then I can bear with the stress while working. Yeah, and then once I do it, and then I also make time for like, okay, I also want to socialize because I realized that my mom taught me when I was young, EQ is more important than IQ. Socializing, getting connected, and helping each other out is very, very important because that will
Wow.
in the long term. And then so I took that to heart because my uncle told me too. My uncle's very successful, as multimillionaire, so he told me as well when I was young. So I was like, okay, let me focus on partying. so so I took some time and focus on partying, and I always party with people that I trust, because for me, trust is very important. Trust, loyalty. You know, when you honesty, like when you come to each other, you come in a position where you want to help each other, but not trying to take advantage of each other, then what's the point of me having friends with you? Because if you keep trying to take advantage of me, well, doing behind my back, and I don't like those feelings. So I try to surround myself with a like-minded individual and people who's like very driven, want to succeed in what they want to do. So that motivate you as well. So I try to build my friends more and more and more, and we find ways to support each other in everything that we can do in life. And yeah, so then I do that, and then has it progressed. Second year was hard, third year was getting easier, and the fourth year was hard. But I do realize that as it get the year has goes by, you become more efficient in studying. So in school, you the trick is to mix with people who's smart. The heck, I was saying, and willing to help.
That's important.
That's important. In exchange, you help them in other area in your life.
Imparting.
Yeah, can be partying, can be anything else that they want to help. For example, discounting here or whatever it is. Um, and I create also like a group where like we help each other out even for homework and tests. We have a certain group that we always go together and we learn how to help each other on our weakness area. So so then without my team, I definitely have a hard time graduating. So pretty thankful to my team for sticking together.
No, that's amazing. It's kind of like almost like a mastermind, right?
Yeah,
It,
like a mini,
except for school.
except for school. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because a lot of time in school, it's like, especially if you're in SFU or UBC, they focus on themselves, right? Not a lot of people want to socialize sometimes. So, and then like people have their own groups. So now I was fortunate enough to be accepted in some groups. So that's when we able to create our own mini group to help each other out.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. And take me through, I guess you were working, focused on work, learning different skills, trying different jobs while in school, making connections, partying a little bit here and there, networking. And when you graduated, what was on your mind? Whoa.
Uh, it's funny because when I graduate, people around me tell me like, get your PR, get your PR, get your PR, get your... because like, you know, that's one people come here from international, they always thought about PR is the most important thing. But for me, it's like, uh, before I graduate, actually 1 year before I graduate, I sit down and I try to vision myself what my life I want to have. So I told myself that I want to have a company that go IPO, and my biggest goal is to clean the water of Indonesia. So I told myself,
Wow.
so I was like, oh, okay, if I can clean the water of Indonesia, I can probably retire and say, okay, I'm done. Okay, I can die now. So, because that is the thing that make me like, okay, I think I achieved what I want to achieve in life, and I'm good. And you know, but in order for me to get there, I need to have a company, and you have a company that is successful. And I seen company that's successful, they need a lot of funding. That's why I thought about IPO. I thought about like, and then people at a high level would have connections to other people. It's easy for them because of their status. It's easy for them to get help around them. And
Mm,
then, so, and then I also thought about, okay, I love real estate. I also want to have real estate around the world. I want to be able to travel around the world. I want to be able to, my families, my friends, my loved ones, to, I'm able to support them financially and emotionally, mentally sometimes when I'm available. Um, and then I thought because I see many rich people going to real estate. So I was like, okay, maybe real estate is important as well. And so yeah, those are one of few things I vision myself, and I vision myself having like a house at the beach area with nice water view. Right.
wow.
And then like the big screen loft, and then had using motorcycle Harley Davidson, and then like have a car, like a Range Rover car. So I see that, and now like, okay, how do I get there? Now I see where I want to go. How do I get there? So then I knew that I have to be in real estate. Um, so then I started to look for jobs in real estate, and then that's when I get into BAM communications. Um, and then from BAM communications, I was very, very fortunate enough, and you know, I gotta thank God for the blessing. And then like I met with Andrew, and Andrew really like helped me out with a lot of things about business world, about how things are working out, how to think positively, many things, how to be successful in life. Yeah, and then we started a business, Gammon Living. So
That's amazing. And you mentioned having that vision there. Do you write down your goals every day? Like do you
yeah,
picture your vision every day? Do you do that?
you know, the funny thing, I used to write down my goals, but it didn't stick with me. So I try to stick it with me. So every day when you do like treadmill in the morning, and then you keep saying it because I remember, I think Anthony Robbins would say, you got to say it out, you got to feel it with emotion. So I say it in the gym, like, oh, I want this, I want that. It looks like a crazy person. So I try to say it in the heart sometimes too, but it didn't stick with me as much because what I realized is everybody have different way of learning. And my mentor, I used to sell orthotics, and one of my mentor taught me that, sales mentor, she taught me that everybody have different way of learning. Some people learn it by reading, some people learning by the picture, some people learning by listening, some people, yeah, a different way of learning, right? So some people learn by like practice. So for me, that I realized that I'm a picture guy. So instead of writing it out, I have like a vision of the picture that I want to be. So I have the big vision, what I want my life goal to be, and I have the picture of it, so I can vision it. And then every year, I have a goal that I set for myself, a picture. So I have picture for health, I have picture for wealth, I have picture for spiritual, I have picture for business, I have picture for friends and family. So I wrote down there. And then every year I review, or every mid-year I review myself. It's like, oh, how far am I from there? Am I close to there? Am I far from there? What am I doing wrong? What am I doing right? how can I pivot to achieve what I want to achieve. Yeah.
That's powerful. That's very powerful. And fast forward, BAM Communication, how did you get into that job? I guess a lot of people would be curious to.
Yeah.
It is a very big, well-known company for what they do.
So I'm a Christian. So back then I sent a bunch of resume. Trust me, I sent like 300, 600 resume. Every job I see there's potential, I just send. And back then I was focused on sales. So I keep sending, and I go to like, I don't know how many interviews, 40 interviews, 50 interviews, and it doesn't click with me. And then one day I asked the God, I was like, hey man, I have faith and I believe whatever you send me is good, is legit, and I trust in you. So then he gave me this opportunity. And then I remember sawing BAM communication renderings. I was like, holy crap, this looks really nice. I was like, man, I want to learn more about this company. And look at the website. I was like, wow, that's like amazing website, amazing renderings and everything like that. And I was like, man, I really want to know like how's the culture is like there. I really want to learn from everyone. I really want to understand this thing, the mechanics behind it. So I sent a resume and I got a response pretty quickly. Andrew replied me back. So I was like, oh man, this is awesome. I was like, okay, let me try to apply. And then when I applied, I met Andrew at the interview. And it was so funny that before the interview, I did some research because you want to be prepared. And then I realized that Andrew has the same birthday as me. We both are October 13th. And I was like, holy crap, it's meant to be, right? and then my name was, my mom back then was before she named me Ericko, she named me Andrew. But my dad couldn't pronounce Andrew because in Indonesia, you got to roll your R. So it's like Andrew. So he has problem pronouncing Andrew. So in the end, my mom changed my name to be Ericko. It's easier to pronounce.
The R.
Yeah, the R thing. And I was like, Mom, wow, this guy named Andrew. And then he's like, 13th October. I'm like, wow, I really want to see what this guy. And then he came in. I still remember he was wearing Rolex. And then it was a nice suit. And then, sorry, I just have a lot of phone calls today.
No worries.
Give me 1 sec. Let me shut off my phone.
Cool.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, and then Andrew showed me all the renderings and everything like that. And then I was just like, wow. I was like, I want to be in this company. So then Andrew hired me, and then Andrew hired me. Mine is blown because at there everybody was very positive about life. Everybody was very driven, and everybody's helping each other out. Everybody was nice, was kind, and everybody is always looking to perfect their artwork or finding ways to get more clients and stuff. So yeah, BAM was very good lesson for me, learning from all those people, the directors, the managers, the seniors, everybody.
And how many years ago was that when you first?
Oh, that was probably a couple of years ago. I don't remember the exact date, but
yeah. And then from there, you said Gammon Living. Was this an idea that you brought to Andrew? How did you pivot from BAM? Because
so it was
creative to property management.
Yeah, so Andrew was my kind of like the director. So I was doing the sales and marketing. And then Andrew was like telling me, he was like, wow, there's so many pre-sale coming on the market. And I was like, yeah, there's a lot. It's good for us because then we have more business from the developer. And he was like, well, with a lot of business in the market, there'll be a lot of people wanting to rent their properties, finding a tenant. And there's a lot of immigrations coming to Vancouver. And then they say like, you want to start a business? I was like, what it is? And then he was like, let's do property management. Like back then we have zero idea about property management. We don't know, you need a license, you don't know anything else, like nothing, zero. So I just said, okay, just do it. Cause I'm like, what is there to lose? But back then I was having a hard time too, because back then I just recently almost to graduation, and my mom was pressuring me to go back home to take over the business. Because remember, I have an established business, and my sisters have their own professional careers, and usually for Chinese culture, the son take over the business, and then so I was having a really hard time not knowing whether if I start a business now, will it be you know putting my family in a position where nobody carry on the legacy. That was a very tough choice, but I asked the man above, and then and then I said that if things if you say this is the right business, open the doors for me. And then it was crazy. Ever since we opened the business just comes naturally. Like, we are working with West Bank now. We work with Everett Properties, work PCM, and we work with a lot of investors, and business just keep coming. And then to a point where now it's like, I just need to focus on getting the tenants, making sure operation looks good, making sure my quality is good. But I before property management, I started my own side business, like a chili business. I start my own cleaning business where I clean people's house and clean the car as well. I start selling stuff online. I do blogging. I try many different things, but none of them really grow as much. And even some of them grow as much. For example, cleaning was pretty good, and then the chili was doing okay, but I don't have passion for it, and things were growing too slow, I feel. But property management, it was growing really fast, and the people that I meet, my clients and my business partners, are very, very fun and nice to work with. So then I just go 100%, just 100%. I don't look back. And then sometimes if people ask me, do I regret not taking over my parents' business? I do say that, sometimes you make the choices that you have in life, and you have to go 100% in order to know whether you regret it or not. And don't regret whatever you do, because like, you never know in the future if you can take your business and combine another business and create a bigger business together. So never see the impossible, always see the possible, always think about optimistic. And that's what Andrew taught me, and I keep having that. So my parents' business as Gammon Living grew, I always see myself, okay, one day my parents' business, I'll find some way to attach that to my business somehow in the future. Yeah,
That's powerful. That's really powerful. And for Gammon Living, I guess you would have to go get your property manager's license.
yeah, we have one. Don't worry, we have one. We have managing broker as well.
Yeah. No, that. And from there on, right?
I'm licensed.
Yeah, you're licensed, of course. I was just jokingly saying that. So I guess from before we kind of get into like COVID-19 and how you feel the impact has been, in terms of like getting clients, you said clients' business just kept on coming.
Yeah.
What was kind of your initial strategy to get those first clients? Was it just reaching out to the network that I guess you've built with BAM and the developers, reaching out to developers? Did you go reach out to consumers? How did you get?
Yeah. So when we first started out, well, the setup took quite some time, because you got to go through real estate council. There's a lot of like the accounting stuff, the banking, everything like that. Once it's set up, and then we just talk to people, because my business partners, they have been in the industry for a really long time, and they know a lot of people, and it was very easy for them to just tell people, hey, I'm doing property management now, residential, and I'm going full on, and people just keep coming.
Understood.
And just keep coming, and then from there onwards, it multiplied, because when people come, you want to create a service that is high quality, and that is like is unforgettable, and you want to over deliver whatever you can do. So from there, people say, oh my God, they did a good job. And then they refer to their friends, and then they just keep coming. And then recently we worked with Pulse to increase more of our reach to everyone. So So yeah, it's been doing great. And I was really blessed to have them because again, my business partners has been in the industry for a very long time. So I guess I was lucky in that sense. And I would say if people who started entrepreneur, if they want to have a fast track, like the hack kind of growth, I'm like a hack master here.
Yeah.
but partner with someone who you see yourself that you want to be with in 10 years or 20 years you're with. I mean, like my business partners, they are much older than me. Okay, guys, don't kill me if you hear this video. but, but they're older than me and they've been in the industry for a very long time, and they know the steps of what it takes to have a successful business. For me, and they know about hiring employees, everything like that. For me, like I don't have that knowledge, but what I have is hard work. I have never give up, and you can give me anything, I'll do it. And so I don't mind doing all the groundwork. So it's give or take. So I tell them, hey, I'll do all the work, like all the hard work and stuff to set everything up, and then you can help me. Just let me know what I need to do, and I'll get it done. So yeah, it's been very good relationship because they do the work as well, and then but I learned so much by working with people who are experienced instead of me trying to figure everything out, from failure. It takes a long time, and if your goal is really big, then you have to make like decision, and you have to make sacrifices, including sacrifice your time, including sacrifice your your shares, company shares and stuff. So just remember that when you do something, it will always never be the end. It's only the end if you think it's in the end. So if you think that it can grow more, it can be better, it can be more creative, or it can be like the best or whatever it is. If you put your mind to it, like Kobe Bryant is like, you can get it. But you have to work. You have to work towards it, of course. And doesn't mean working in the one way. You have to work many different ways. Like, just give an example of Kobe Bryant. Like people say he's great offensive because he work on the left hand, right hand, his pivot foot, left and right. He can shoot left, right hand, and left hand, both. If you see his highlights, he shoot with left hand sometimes, some shots. So the same thing about business. You have to be flexible and learn many different skills. And when the different skills came in, usually in tough times, and a tough time where you need creative strategy, that's when different skills will help you out to solve that bump. And that's how if you can solve every bump in a way, and that's how you keep growing more and more and more and more and more.
That's powerful. And from your point of view, how do you differentiate yourself from other property management companies? Because it's just like a realtor, right? There's a lot of them out there. How from just
so property management company, it's kind of like when I go into the field, I realized that not a lot of them focus on marketing aspect. And I graduated from marketing degree, and BAM also is a creative agency that help marketing companies, that help developers to create all those beautiful assets so they can send it out, put it on public. So, and I'm like, okay, property management doesn't have that. And maybe this is back when I was looking at Mark Cuban video. He said, like, when you go into industry, you got to be able to know how you can disrupt the industry, like make a big impact. And I was like, okay, property management, they don't have marketing. What if like I can bring these new technologies and marketing, creative, beautiful pictures into property management and create this disruption of like the go-to like advanced in technology, tech savvy kind of company, make everything so efficient. And then, and even my employees can work from home and stuff. So I was like, okay, let me give it a try because maybe this will work. And then and only that, we also focus on working developers because a lot of property management companies, they just focus on working with investors. And then with our connections at BAM, it helped us to talk with developers as well and see how we can help them. Because a lot of developers these days, as you know, the market right now for sales, pre-sales especially, might not be doing that well. And some of them want to pivot to rentals. So that's why I'm like, okay. And no one is doing that in Vancouver. So I was like, why not us? So let's do something that out of the box and create this thing that, and be the first one who drive it like Tesla. So that'd be pretty cool. And I'm just like, okay,
Yeah.
and just do it. Just do it.
That's powerful. I think, yeah, like what you're saying in terms of you always want to think about how you can bring another level of expertise
Yeah.
into a field that's been around forever, but we see a limited amount of development and growth in terms of the integration of technology, right, into property management or real estate even. So I think that's amazing what you guys have been able to do. So,
Yeah, and the funny thing, the more we do this and realize that it actually create a win-win for the community as well, because for us to be able to ask the developers to rent out their properties and or to ask investors and to make life easy for our landlords to sign the lease agreement or to the background check application and stuff. First of all, it increase the time or efficiency to close a tenant, right? Because a lot of time investors is they're always worried at the background application process, like, oh, is this a good tenant and stuff, and they always want information. And then once it's done, the process might take some time. We help to cut the shorten time with a peace of mind for our investors, and then for developers, we're able to put more properties in the market. So now renters have more options they can choose from. So with that, then we're actually helping the community out, putting more properties on the market. And people say they can't find a place, and then sometimes we have places for them as well that's available.
that's wonderful. And Ericko, given the current circumstances of COVID-19, how is it impacting the property rental and management side of things?
Yeah. So in our property management industry, um, starting April, May, June, July, August, it usually, especially August is our peak. That's when the most busiest time that we have. Right now, April, usually that's when we see a lot of people coming to the showings. But COVID-19 really affect the market in a way that it prevent people from international, so from the States or people other side of Canada, like Toronto, Montreal, Quebec and stuff. And people from Asia, people from Europe, people from the US coming here. And so what we see is $2,000 and below, we able to rent them out, still good. But the thing is, you have to note that these places they rent it out, they are mostly apartments, and they are mostly like located in a decent location where transportation is pretty easy, and also they have like good. It's close to their workplace most of the time, and we realized that a lot of the tenants these days that want to rent, they are looking to get a cheaper rent where they are currently. And most of the tenants that have signed our lease agreement in March, that's the trend that we've been seeing. It might change, we don't know. But I do have some feedback that the tenants say they want to have some buffer because they don't know COVID-19, how long it's going to last for. We do still rented out properties above 2,000, but definitely it's taken a longer time. Again, because right now you're looking at people moving in BC, most of it, right? Or in Vancouver or in Lower Mainland. And average income in Vancouver, I would say 61,000, right? And not a lot of people want to spend money like $2,000 and above for rental, because people want to spend like 30% or 50% of their income on rentals, at most 50%. And if they go over, they most likely feel nervous, especially right now, a lot of people getting laid off. And the government's only giving like a maximum of like $400 per week. And if you have $2,000 per month, if your rent amount is $2,000 and you're staying alone, that's it. You have no food. That's all your money. So it's very dangerous, right? So that's why people are trying to go like lower rent. And even lower rent, they're very picky still with the location. Yeah. And not only that, the mortgage rate is going down, right? when the mortgage rate is going down, we also realized that um, a lot of some of our clients sell their properties, and when they sell their properties, then that means more tenants are buying properties to move in.
Mm,
That's what we're seeing as well. So uh, the supply, the supply definitely has an effect on that as well.
I see. Okay. So how, like, in terms of how do you see this playing out for the near future? Like, do you see more renters continuously purchase more property? Do you see that being the trend?
What what I see is this is based on me talking to other realtors as well. You know, the first few, a lot of transactions these days are coming from people locally. And it seems like the people coming, you can correct me if I'm wrong here. And then the people who want to do it locally, they have been waiting on the sideline and saying that the market's going to drop, the market's going to drop, the market's going to drop. And now they're like, okay, I think the market's dropped, I'm coming in. You know, so it's like, so they're coming in right now and buying. And I am dealing with some of them who just bought properties and want to rent out. But right now, the funny thing is, when you buy the properties and you rent out, there's more vacancy because COVID-19 is affecting the showing. Because a lot of people these days prefer virtual showing as well, and we need to limit the amount of groups able to come to the showings. And even when they come to showings, we can't put all the groups coming at the same time. We have to spread them out, and only one group is allowed to come in. And when they come in, we only give them a short amount of time, and they're not allowed to touch anything. Only our showing agents able to touch things around, and we have to sanitize everything. We got to wear masks and wear gloves, everything. And people, you know, all those factors, even without the COVID-19, you know, when it's raining, you see people like barely even going out to do showings, coming to the showings. Sorry, the tenants coming to the showings when it's raining, when it's bad weather. When it's sunny, you see a lot of people. And now with COVID-19, it's like on top of that. So it's definitely make the showing lesser than last year, because usually last year at this time, rentals going really fast, quick. It's like rent. Now it's just like slower to rent. It's renting, but it takes longer time.
mm. And when you do rentals, do you primarily do long-term rentals or short-term
Yeah,
rentals?
so we do 1 year fix and then month to month, unless the landlord want to do like 6 months or month to month to start off. But most of our landlords are doing 1 year fix. And then for we do furnished, unfurnished. We don't do short term. We don't do Airbnb. We just focus on the I say midterm and long term.
And is there a reason why you don't particularly do Airbnb? Is there a lot of restrictions in Vancouver for
Uh,
that?
no, we thought about it, but then we realized that it's a different beast, and as you may know too. But so, and then we realized that, you know, in order to be successful as a business, you have to specialize in what you do. And before you pivot to you know, offering another service or offering something else, you have to create a machine that's able to run by itself. And when it runs by itself, you have to put the right people in place.
Mm,
So we are still trying to develop this machine where uh, it grow by itself to a time that we don't even have to do anything. It can just grow constantly. And, you know, creating this machine, it takes a lot of time and energy and effort. And we feel that we're almost there, but we're not there yet. We are growing, and we are growing pretty quickly. But when you're growing quickly, when you create this machine, it just take away some time off, because then you have to focus on your clients and stuff. So yeah, focusing on the machine was the reason why we didn't go to Airbnb. But and second reason is we have a lot of Airbnb friends as well, and we don't want to step in to the market and affecting our friends, our business partners, I would say, that they have Airbnb. Because sometimes what the Airbnb people do is they give us some renters, like qualified renters. Because what happened is some employer, they'll pay someone from Toronto, for example, sign a contract with them for a year or 2 years. Then because they aren't able to find a place, they'll stay at Airbnb for 1 month or 2 months, and then they will ask the Airbnb host like, oh, where can I rent this place? Then they usually the Airbnb host will be like, oh, go to Ericko, Gammon Living, they might have a place for you. And these people are usually pretty rich, like 6 figures or high 5 figures, right? Some are even 7 figures. So that's when they've been helping us getting our tenants as well. So we don't want to step into them, and we always want to find a way to add value to people around us. So yeah, those are the 2 reasons why.
That's amazing. That's amazing, Ericko. And for investors, do you foresee like good locations to invest in? From your point of view, from the property management side, what are some key factors that people should look at when you're investing?
When investing, if for renting, not for buying. Okay.
Yeah, so, for renting.
Number one is a lot of people are looking more into 1 bedroom these days, because it's just that 2 bedrooms, the price range is just pretty high for Canadian. Again, Canadian average income is only 60,000 plus, right? If you really break it down after tax, that's like 3,000-ish, I believe. Yeah. And then, if 50% of their rent is only 1,500, 1,600. So, and people in Canada, they like privacy. So they want rent, privacy, and they want like 1 bedroom, but they only can afford this much. And not a lot of people like to share with another roommates. There's a lot of things. So that is why that is important to consider. Number 2 to consider is transportation. Vancouver, the good thing about Vancouver is bus and SkyTrain's easy access, but you also have to consider highways and stuff. So if you're looking for a place to invest, you have to look at, okay, when you're going to highways, is it at a point where it's easy for them to get through? Is it always traffic? Or at a bus wise, is the bus only at 1 bus? And then how far of a distance to get to a bus stop or like a SkyTrain? SkyTrain will be ideal, but not too close to the SkyTrain, because if you're too close to SkyTrain, sometimes the sound of the SkyTrain, renters doesn't like it because it's really noisy. Sometimes some of them couldn't sleep. And then the third thing is commercial. What is the retail store nearby? Is there grocery nearby? Especially COVID-19, having grocery nearby is very important. Day-to-day stuff like banking and stuff. Is it close to your workplace? Because a lot of people want to rent at a place where it's closer to their work, unless you're a cop, because a cop usually they're at a different city. So if they work in Vancouver, they'll rent in Surrey. If they work in Surrey, they will rent in Vancouver. But this is like one exception, right? So, but most of the time, people want to stay closer to where they are usually working. And then the fourth thing is pet friendly. Vancouver, a lot of people have pets, but you have to remember when it's pet friendly, there's always a risk. Your half-month deposit may not cover the damages. And then you also have to consider about the bylaws, because some of them require a certain breed, a certain pounds, a certain height, a certain amount of type of pet. And some of them don't accept dogs, some of them don't accept cats. So you have to read about that. And the fifth thing you have to consider about is the bylaws, because especially buying apartments, some of them doesn't allow rentals, or some of them when you're renting the properties, you have to kind of like bid on it. So it's kind of like a process where only one property is allowed to rent at a time in the building. So that will create a lot of restriction, and you have mortgage to pay. So when you have mortgage to pay, you have to make sure that there's no restriction on it, or it'll be hard. Some landlord would think like, oh, does amenities is important and stuff. Amenities is a bonus. It doesn't always need to be important. And then, yeah, so that's mostly it. And then now I see trends where like townhomes and houses are getting popular as well for young families. Because a lot of
houses, wow.
Yeah, townhouse and houses. So a lot of young families these days, like they stay in an apartment for quite some time, or 1 bedroom or 2 bedroom, or 1 bedroom and then 2 bedroom, and they have kids, and they realize that wow, their kids need a lot of space, the diapers and all those like milk powder, you gotta stock it up. So and you need space for the kids to walk around because they have so much energy, right? So then they're looking for those houses, and But houses, they're not willing to spend a certain amount. Again, if husband and wife who's earning like around 1,600, I mean $3,000, $4,000 per month, they're only willing to spend like 3,000 ish, right? Because 1,600, 50% of their income. So 3,200, 50% of their income, 1,600 times two, husband and wife, 3,200. Just example, just this is an example, using the average income. And then that's how much they're willing to spend. But you have to remember that now they have kids, they don't technically want to spend 50% of their income on houses unless they need to. They might spend lesser, even some of them, because they want to get a buffer to have enough money for their kids. And if their kids is currently going to private school, that's even more expensive for them. Yeah, those are the points.
So that's another thing to consider too. When you're an investor, just location, transportation, the commercial space around there, if it's close to work, easy access to highway, and also like what people can afford. That's another thing.
Yeah, like grocery store, like banking and stuff. Yeah, those are important. And again, because pricing, right? So
pricing is important too.
Yeah, because like if you buy a 3-bedroom, I mean, especially COVID-19 these days, not a lot of people can afford that. So there'll be people who can afford it, but you have to be patient with it. But 1-bedroom studios, there'll be more people who can afford it. 1-bedroom and den as well, houses, townhomes. So yeah, you have to be careful with the pricing as well. Make sure that when you buy the properties, it's a good price range for you when you get a mortgage, and then it's enough for you. You are comfortable with the risk if there's no tenant.
Got it. And Ericko, how long have you been with Gammon Living? How long has
Gammon Living has been 2 years-ish.
Wow.
Yeah. We grew a lot ever since then. But I've been in the real estate industry for 6-7 years.
6-7 years.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So definitely, Gammon Living has been really good.
Awesome. And what's the 5-year plan for Ericko? Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
5 years, Gammon Living. For me, to focus on Gammon Living, to get Gammon Living to not only be good in Lower Mainland, but maybe to Victoria as well, to Calgary, to other part of Canada. Hopefully by then we're able to penetrate to the United States as well, to Seattle area and stuff. We don't see Gammon Living as just a local brand. We see it international. Grow to a team where that everybody is open to communication, helping each other out. Teamwork is very important. I think that's one of the few fundamentals that we have in Gammon Living: teamwork, communication, openness, being honesty to one another. And then hopefully get married, have kids. No, probably not have kids. Maybe have kids. I don't know. I don't know. 5 years, I don't know. But get married, and then we'll see how it goes. Sometimes like the 5-year plan, you have the vision in your head, but you never know until you go through it day by day, and it does change every year depending on your circumstances. But that's why I always like the big vision, which is like before I die kind of goal, and every year goal. I don't have that 10 year or 5 years because it changes.
Yeah. Would there be anything that you would do differently if you could do it all again?
If I do differently all again, learn Mandarin properly. Especially in the real estate industry, Mandarin is very important. When I go to Singapore, back then they have a rule that you need to learn at least 2 languages.
Yeah.
So Indonesian and Malaysian language is very similar, and I wanted to take that because it's the easy route. And my mom was like, "No, you gotta take Mandarin because Chinese gonna rule the world one day." I was right. She was right.
True. She's true. Absolutely.
And so I was forced to Mandarin, and I don't like it because imagine as a 6 years old, you're learning like Indonesian language, English, and Mandarin at the same time. And I'm not those, every kid has their own specialty, and I'm more towards math, like mathematics. I'm not the type that do the language, and I was
Mm-hmm.
forced, and I wasn't good at it. But you know, in the Asian culture, I don't care if you're good, you just gotta do it. so,
Mm-hmm.
so I had to do it. But if I were to go back to my 16-year-old self, I'll tell my 16-year-old self, like, hey, I know it's tough, I know it's not easy, but you know, try your best to do the best you can. And it'll be nice if I can surround myself with like Chinese people that can help me out with the spelling and essays, whatever it is. But yeah, that will help too. Because back then in Singapore, my friends speak English, Chinese, and Singlish.
Mm,
And
Singlish, yeah.
I'm like, so we were like mixing up our language together. So I don't know whether the grammar is right or not, but
Yeah.
as long as it sounds good and people understand.
Perfect, perfect. And Ericko, I have one last question before we get off here. Thank you again for your time. But you mentioned getting married, so I just wanted to have your opinion on how having a significant other has helped you when you're an entrepreneur, right? Like how does having a relationship, like how does that impact you as an entrepreneur? Because I'm
Yeah,
sure a lot of people are curious about that too, because you're so busy and there's a lot you have to juggle. So what's your take on that?
yeah. So I'm the kind of guy, before I take action, I'll do research. I'll talk to people who's like 10 years, 20 years, 5 years, or whatever. They have done it, been there, done that. And I always ask the people who, different kind of people who, for example, if people are married, I ask people who have 4 kids, 3 kids, 2 kids, 1 kid, no kid, or adopting. At least you can get different perspective, right? Every day, and then you see what kind of life you want to get into.
Yeah.
And then for back then, I realized that after you graduate, you're gonna have a hard time getting a wife or like a significant others, because the thing is, after you graduate, you earn money, and then when you earn money, and then some guys have the mindset, I was like, oh, is this girl want me for my money, or this girl want me because of me? And then, or some guys were like, being with the girl after the honeymoon phase is done, and then they started to have the small fights, and they'd be like, oh my god, I don't need her because I'm self-sustainable by myself, right? So I realized that when I before I graduate, I saw people have that issues, and then I realized that, okay, then it's better to have someone before, like in university, because at that university the problems that you're facing is very small. And if I'm going through with a girl that and she can't sustain even the small things, and we can get through it together, I cannot see myself being with her forever. It's that simple, right?
Yeah.
So I was very lucky enough. She was in one of my class, and then she was speaking on the stage, and I thought, oh, that's the girl. And and then from that, then we go on a date, and then when she really motivated me in a way that just different personality than me. Like, I'm the kind of guy, I just want to get stuff done. uh, Even though I do my research, I take a lot of action. But sometimes I don't really think that much before I take the action, because I'm an action taker. For her, is she like to analyze. So so every time when I go, she'll be like, no, you gotta pull me back and be like, hey, like, there's a more efficient way of doing things. There's more effective way. Or something. She was like, okay, you gotta read the rules in order to find the loopholes, how you can the hacks, how to make it easier. Right. And then she taught me many different things that I don't have, and that is what I love about my girlfriend, because she's the opposite of me, and she's very we are honest to one another. um, but it's just me. I like to see different side of life, but some people like to see similar side of life with their significant others. So it's important, because like, especially as an entrepreneur, as you work every day, you work 16 hours, 18 hours, day in and day out, every single day, because you want to grow that business. You grind for 5 years, 4 years, 3 years. It can get pretty lonely sometimes. And then every meeting that you go to is always for business, 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 business. And then you ask yourself, like, is this it in life? You know? And I've seen entrepreneur where like they hustle for like 8 years or 10 years of their life and they earn a good amount of money, pretty established, their company run by itself. Then they started partying. But again, when they started partying, when girls come to them, and then the girls doesn't follow whatever they want. They have a certain perspective, what they want to be, and they don't follow whatever they want to be. Like for example, like the personalities wise, how pretty they are, whatever it is. And then you say, okay, no, next. Because in business, it's so easy, right? I mean, if one vendor doesn't work out for you, you go to next vendor and next vendor and next vendor. And there's a lot of vendors out there, right? But that's not how it is relationship, because, you know, well, even in a business relationship, you want to make sure you and the vendor grow together, right? And that's how you guys can grow to a next level. That's why like having the girl there to support you and pull you down sometimes, especially for guys, we are so driven. It really helps to bring down to earth who we are as a human. Sometimes you forget that you're a human being, human needs, for example, like sleeping and stuff, because it can get really addicting. I don't know if you know what I mean. Like your phone, like you can't get away from your phone because there'll be emails coming in nonstop, phone calls, meetings, clients coming in. Everybody need you day in and day out. Everybody need help, and you know, and you want to help people out, but it's only a certain amount of time. And sometimes by us having the human side of things, we're able to connect better with our clients, with our tenants or landlords, and able to have a sympathy of what they're going through, and have a better relationship. And that will also create higher quality for our landlords and tenants. So
That's amazing.
Yeah. So yeah, having a significant other is important. Definitely is important.
And lastly, Ericko, how can people reach you?
Yeah.
Where can they find you?
You can email me at ericko@gammon, G for good, AMMON, living, LIVING.com.
Perfect. And social media, just Gammon_living?
Yeah, Gammon_living. And that's it.
Perfect. All right. Thank you for being on our podcast today, Ericko, and sharing your journey with us.
No, thank you for the invite. Sorry if I talk too long.
It's all. I'm sure there's a lot of value in there, and I'm sure people will learn a lot from it. So thank you so much.
Let's just cut it out.
All right, Ericko. Well, I hope you have a good day. It was nice talking to you.
Okay, take it easy.
Yeah. Okay. Bye, Ericko.